Welcome back to Lara Academy. This is Mickey, and today we're going to be taking a look at the database structure for our URL Shortener series. To get started off, we have a default Laravel 5 project. If I load up Sublime, the only thing that I've changed is in the env file. I've gone ahead and I've inserted my database here. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the database schema that we're going to be creating here. We have a links table and statistics table. So let's go ahead and let's make some migrations. So we can run PHP artisan, but instead of make migration, let's do make model, and I'll explain in a second. Let's give our model a name of link, and let's say -m. If we go ahead and hit enter, you can see we have a model created as well as our migration. So this just saves a step. Let's go ahead and do the same for statistics. So we'll make model statistics, or statistic with an M. And you can see we have our model and migration again. Now looking at this, let's go ahead and create a database seeder as well. So we want to seed this links table, and we'll do PHP artisan make seeder. Let's give it a name of link table seeder and just hit enter. So now that we have our files created, let's see what they look like. Head back over to Sublime, and let's pull down our database migrations first. You can see we have create links and our statistics. We also have our seeds for our links and the default for user. And finally, if we open up app, you can see we have a link model as well as a statistic model. Now let's head back on over to our migration and let's create this links table. If we take a look at our schema, we have name, URL, and slug, as well as visits. So let's head back and let's start adding these in. So in our migration, let's copy this table variable. We'll say we want a string for name, a string for URL, a string as well for the slug, and for now, let's leave out the visits, because we do have this relationship, and let's actually use that instead. So we'll switch back over. Let's give this file a save. And now let's head on over to our migration for statistics. And we want an integer for our link ID. And let's make it unsigned as we don't need any negative values. And we also need a string for the referral. Let's give this a save. Now we can load up our console and test our migrations. So let's do PHP artisan migrate. Now if everything works correctly, you can see we have green here, so all of our tables have been added to MySQL. The next step here is setting up the link model. If we look at our migration, you can see we have name, URL, and slug. So these three fields we want to be writable. Well, let's go ahead, let's make a protected variable called fillable, and it's an array, and inside this array is just going to be our variables. So using Sublime, I'll just trim this off. So our fillable fields are name, URL, and slug. Let's go ahead and just add a little tag for fillable fields. Now the next thing we're going to do is let's copy this, just save us some time. Let's head on over to statistics and paste this in as well. And our fillable field, we have two of them. Our first one is link ID and our second one is referral. So let's add that in and save our file. And since we're working with our models, let's take this link ID and let's turn it into a relationship. So back in our link.php, let's just add a stub for relationships. And let's make a new function and let's just call this statistics. Now thinking out loud, our link can have or has many statistics attached to it. So we'll say has many app statistic class. Because of the way that I've named the table, the statistics, I don't have to put the extra information on here. Laravel will automatically know that I want the table statistics. So we can go ahead and we can save this. Let's move on to the next step. We want to use the database seeder, specifically the user seeder, to insert a record for our administrator. So we could say app user create. And now we have to pass in the general information we need to create a user. If we check out user.php, we can see we need three items: name, email, and password. So let's just go ahead and add these into an array. I'll just clean up this tab here. And what we're going to do is for the name, let's just say support, and our email will be support@lairacademy.co. And finally, for a password, let's use the hash make and just put in the word password. Now, whenever we run this user table seeder, it's going to create this user for us automatically. So the next one we want to handle is this link table seeder. For the links, we want to create a factory. So let's go into factories and then model factory. Well, you can see we have one for user. So let's just duplicate this and we'll say app link. And the items that we need are going to be the name, URL, and slug. So let's go ahead and change email to URL, password to slug. Now what we can do is we can still use faker. So the name, let's just get a single word. The URL, we'll get a fake URL. And for the slug for now, you know what, let's just take 10 random characters. We'll just remove this last one as we don't need it. And while we're here, let's also define a factory for statistics. So let's copy the link one, paste it below, change link to statistic. And we only really need one here, and that's going to be the referral. And let's use a faker URL as well. Clean this up, and let's save this file. So the reason we didn't put link ID in there is because in our database seeder, we're going to be using our database seed to pass the relationship to it. Let's check out how we can do that. Well, in our link table, let's go ahead and let's create, say, 10 links. So we can say factory, and let's refer to our model, so app link. And we want to create 10 records. And for each of those records, let's pass a function with the current link. And now for each one of these links, let's randomly choose whether or not we're going to have a stat for it. So we'll say random 0 to 1, and if it is 1, let's go ahead and let's create a relationship for statistics. And let's save a current factory model. So app statistic class in make. So to go over this, if we're creating a factory of 10 links, for each one of those links, we're going to pass the link variable in. Let's randomly decide whether or not we are going to add a statistic, which comes from the factory, so we can use faker, and we're just going to make a single row. Let's make sure that we save this. Let's head back to our database seeder, and what we need to do is we need to call our user table seeder, and we'll duplicate this, and we need to call our link table seeder. Let's go ahead and save this, and now we can run the PHP artisan dbc command. dbseed. You can see that we've seeded our user and our links as well. Now testing this data is pretty easy. Let's use PHP artisan tinker. Let's go ahead and let's check to make sure we have some links in there. So we'll just say link all. You can see indeed we definitely have 10 of them. And let's try and choose a random link here. So let's get the ID here. We'll say L equals app link find and pass in the ID of 9. And let's see if this link has any statistics on it. And I actually need to take those brackets off. And we currently don't have any for this one. So you know what, the easiest way would be to actually just view all the statistics. So we'll say all. And let's grab one of these link IDs, such as the number 6. So we'll say find 6. And let's try out that relationship now. So we'll say statistics. So you can see that we have a model with our information here, as well as the relationship for statistics. Now this video wasn't as short as I liked it to be, but we have our database up and running, so we can move forward with our URL shortener. Thanks for watching.